All right, guys, we're going to practice our high frequency words from this week. I'm going to lay them out, give you a moment to try and say them or read them correctly on your own, and then I will say the word. And we might go through these twice just to get that extra practice. All right, so right now you don't need any paper or pencil. You just be ready to practice reading. Did you read the word? It's answer. Brought. Busy. Door. Enough. Eyes. We're going to do them one more time, and this time I'm going to mix them up. Ready? Here we go. Enough. Door. Answer. Eyes. Busy. And brought. Make sure to practice those again. You can rewind the video if you need a little bit more practice reading those. Awesome job. Let's move on to spelling. All right, guys, we're going to continue our warm-up by doing the same thing with our spelling words. All right, I'll lay them out. You say them. I'll read them to you so you'll know that if you got them right, and make sure to repeat it after I say it so that you can practice saying it correctly. All right, let's get started. All right, for spelling, remember to say the word when I lay the card out, and then I'll say it so you'll be able to check if you got it right. Moon. Flew. Tune. Fruit. Soup. Blue. Door. Enough. Coin. And toy. Awesome job. Right now we're just working on the reading of those words. Maybe tomorrow we'll practice some spelling as well. All right, let's go ahead and practice our fluency for today. Remember to do this more than once if you need that extra practice. Louis and his new suit. Louis and his new suit. Louis was a boy who liked to work alone. Louis was a boy who liked to work alone. He thought he had the right answers. He thought he had the right answers. Louis did not want help from any pals in his group. Louis did not want help from any pals in his group. One day, Louis had his new blue suit with him. One day, Louis had his new blue suit with him. He sat to drink a can of fruit juice. He sat to drink a can of fruit juice. A big June wind blew it from his hand and it got on his suit. That's a long one. Let's go. A big June wind blew it from his hand and it got on his suit. What a mess. What a mess. All right, this next paragraph, I'm just going to read all the way through the end. Follow along. Louis closed his eyes and wished for the suit to get clean. It did not work. Louis felt sad enough to cry. Louis went home. He did not have a good plan. Just then, there was a noise at his door. When Louis opened it, a crew came in. The crew brought a suitcase filled with cool things to clean the suit. Soon the fruity stain was clean. Louis had a big grin on his face. Now Louis helps the crew and the crew helps Louis. They drew up a plan to make things work. Louis helps the crew, even if he is very busy. The crew makes the time for Louis. It's a good plan. All right, if you haven't yet, I want you to pause the video and go into Connect Ed in your waffle, and I want you to read the story Super Tools again. You should have read it on Tuesday, but I want you to read it again today. I don't have my red book here, so I can't read it to you in the video, but you guys all have it on your Connect Ed waffle in the program. You know, the one with the squirrel and the games and the books and all of those. You go to the book and you look for the story Super Tools, and you should be able to get that out. Then we'll do this, the back side, and the white paper all together. All right, so pause the video, go watch or listen to Super Tools, and then have this out and start playing again. All right, guys, so we're gonna actually do the back of this paper first, because you should have reread that story about the Super Tools. As you can see, I am not having luck with tearing my papers apart today, so maybe you'll be a little more careful than I was, because I made a mess of this one too. But you're gonna get the brown paper, turn it to the back, and we're gonna work on this right now. All right, let's begin. All right, guys, in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about theme. Theme. This right here is the word theme. Let me see if I can circle it. Yep, there it is in the yellow. Do you see that? Theme. The theme is the big idea or message of a story. I'm going to say that one more time, and you can read it along with me right here if you like. Right underneath the word theme, it tells us. It says the theme is the big idea or message of a story. And you can find text evidence in a story or in a book that will help you figure out what the theme is. So here it tells us, find clues that help you understand the theme. Now we're going to be talking about the story Super Tools once again. So if you haven't taken the time to go to your waffle and to Connect Ed to the page with the squirrel and click on the book and pull up the story Super Tools and read it, or have it read to you by pushing on the little audio button, then you should do that now. You can pause and go do that. That way you'll understand this lesson a whole lot better. Because we're going to be talking about the different clues that the story shared that can tell us what the theme is. Now, the story will never say, this is a clue that tells you the theme, and then say it. You have to figure out by what happens in the story that it's a clue to what the theme is. Now, this week, we already talked about our big idea. And the big idea is helping one another, how we can work together to make our lives better. All right, and these stories often go along with our theme. So let's think about that. How does this story have to do with helping each other? Okay, and what happened in the story to show that these tools were helping each other? All right, that's what we're going to work on together. And we're going to transfer some information. All right, and the next clue, as you can see here, it says the crayons drew the sun in a blue sky. The crayons drew. All right, guys, I had to pause there because when I changed slides on the last video, it cut my video out, and then when it restarted the video, I was already halfway done with the worksheet. So I just want to go back real quick and tell you about these two. And since I only have one copy of the worksheet, I couldn't start the video over. So this first clue said, the pencils made a sketch. The pencils made a sketch, and that showed how the pencils worked together to make their lives better, which was to try and get the girl's attention so she would play with them rather than her computer. The second clue says, the markers drew the birds in the trees. The markers drew the birds in the trees. And so I drew a picture of the markers doing the picture of the bird. Okay. The third clue said the crayons drew the sun in the blue sky. All right, and that's what I drew there, and I believe that's where my video started filming again. So I'm gonna cut back to the other one, and I am so sorry about that. If you need to pause or go back, to look at the paper, that's fine. If you would rather write those sentences than draw those pictures, you can do that too. You make that choice. The bottom one is a sentence because that's the most important box. That is where we actually say the theme. All right, good job, guys, and thanks for your patience. So the sun and the blue sky. So I'm going to draw the crayons. Okay, and on the big paper, we're going to see the sun and in the blue sky. We can use a blue crayon for that. Okay, all three of these things that happen in the story show us how the tools all worked together. And the tools work together because they want to improve something, and improve means to make things better. And remember, they were sad in the beginning because the girl started to play with her computer all the time, and they wanted her to play with them again. And so they decided to remind her of how awesome they were. And they did that by working together, which is our theme, not only for this story, but also for this week. All right, now instead of drawing a picture on this last one that says theme, we're actually going to write it, okay? So we're going to write, the tools worked together to make their lives better. Period. All right, then you can get your crayons out and make that look just so bright and nice. And when you're finished with that, make sure you pause the video. You're going to turn it over and we're going to get started on this side. Good job working on theme today, guys. All right, guys, on this side of the paper, we are going to review our vocabulary words, okay? Our first vocabulary word was demand. If you demand that someone do something, you ask forcefully or strongly, okay? Asking forcefully is demanding. Emergency. An emergency is something unexpected that you need to take care of right away. All right, those are your two vocabulary words, demand and emergency. This first part of this worksheet says, match each sentence to the picture that it tells about. Let's take a look at those pictures first. This looks like a fireman talking to some children. And this one looks like they're playing soccer. Okay, number one, the coaches demand that their team works hard. Ooh, that is going to be this one because it's talking about a coach and a team and they are playing a sport. We learned what to do in case of an emergency. Who is a good person to teach about emergencies? That's right, a fireman, because he knows how to handle those. Awesome job. The second one wants us to put our vocabulary words into a sentence by filling in the blank. Okay, so it says complete each sentence, use a word from the box. I blank that you listen to me. I blank that you listen to me. Now I hope you can tell which one it is right away because it looks like they're talking very loud and strongly right here. But in case you're ever not sure, you can try both words. I demand that you listen to me, or I emergency that you listen to me. I hope one of those didn't make any sense to your ears. You should have picked demand. Okay. Number 4, we should check to make sure it makes sense. You can use a flashlight in an emergency. You can use a flashlight in an emergency. Did you guys notice that it didn't say a emergency? It said an emergency because emergency starts with a vowel. Awesome job, guys. Now that we're finished with that one, we're going to move to this preposition paper. Okay? Using prepositions. All right, remember prepositions are words that tell us where something is happening in a sentence. Okay, So this is my ripped paper. Sorry about that. It's kind of distracting. All right. It says, read each sentence and decide which preposition makes the most sense in the blank. All right. Here are the words in the box, so we know what they are. Above, beyond, in, toward, during. Okay. Remember, while we're doing these videos, you can always choral read with me to practice your reading skills. In fact, I encourage you to. That way you get the most practice out of these videos. Number 1, the kids ran blank the playground at recess. The kids ran blank the playground at recess. The kids ran above the playground? No. The kids ran beyond the playground? I suppose they could, but I doubt that. The kids ran in the playground. The kids ran toward the playground. The kids ran during the playground. I hope you liked the way this one sounded. Toward. The kids ran toward the playground at recess. Cross it off. Number 2, Rob found his homework blank his backpack. Rob found his homework blank his backpack. Go ahead and think of that one. Try each one. I hope you chose in. Rob found his homework in his backpack. That makes the most sense. Not above his backpack or beyond it or during his backpack. It was in the backpack. Number 3, I like to work with my partner blank reading center time. I like to work with my partner reading center time. Above reading center time, beyond reading center time, or during reading center time. During. Excellent job. Number 4. Can you reach the sugar in the cabinet blank the stove? Can you reach the sugar in the cabinet above the stove or beyond the stove? I hope you chose above. Which leaves beyond as our last one. Let's check and make sure that it makes sense. I can see the sun rising beyond the treetops. It sure does. Excellent work in your language arts packet today, guys. Good job. Go ahead and move on to the independent work that you see written in the email. And then when you're ready, it'll be time for math. The last thing you need for today for language arts is your blank piece of paper. We're going to do independent work on this today. All you need to do is choose 5 spelling words. You can use your bookmark to choose those words, or if you want to ever pause the video and look at these, I got to put them back in the chart. You are going to choose 5 spelling words and write 1 sentence for each spelling word, so you'll have 5 sentences total using a word in a sentence. So for example, the word toy. My favorite toy is my Nintendo. Or flew. The bird flew away. Moon. I see the moon at night. All right? Give me some good sentences. All right, guys? That's your independent work for today. All right, so that's it for language arts after you finish this. And then we're going to be getting started on math. Make sure you take any breaks. Pause the video whenever you need to, because I know that this can be a lot, okay? I'm going to put these back in here just in case you want to look at this right now. But you can also look at your bookmark and your sheet from the beginning of the week. All right, guys? All right. See you tomorrow.